Welcome back. It's time for Media Watch. James CREEDON is here with all the daily delights. Good to see you, James.
Likewise.
Now we're going to start with Nicolas Sarkozy, the former French president, of course.
Yes.
He's been delighting the crowds over in Brussels, hasn't he? With a few digs and a few jibes and a few jokes.
He's good at working the crowds, Nicolas, and he always has been. And he was up in Brussels this morning. I didn't know that former French presidents could do this, but he was giving the Legion of Honour to the current Belgian foreign minister. Maybe he has a few left over in the cupboard and he wanted to use them up. So that's the current Belgian foreign minister, a guy by the name of Didier Reynders. And in any case, he was speaking on front of that crowd up in Brussels and cracked a few jokes, sort of at François Hollande's expense, really. One was saying, "Oh, I'm just passing through. Don't worry, I'm not going to stay," which I think was a reference to tax exile and to Gérard Depardieu's supposed tax exile.
Well, that's more of a dig at Gérard Depardieu, isn't it?
I suppose it is. But let's take a listen to what he said next, which I think is a pretty clear reference to François Hollande's 75% tax rate.
Tu as supprimé des taux d'imposition jugés comme confiscatoires à 52 ou 55%. Je précise que je ne parle que de la Belgique.
Yeah, you're only talking about Belgium. We don't believe you.
That was a dig.
You're clearly talking about France. So he's,
François Hollande, of course, had the 75% tax rate.
Right.
That was one of his top policies.
That's exactly
but he got thrown out by the Constitutional Court.
That's exactly it. Now, the thing is, Nicolas Sarkozy has some legal problems at the moment.
One or two, you could say
just a few about alleged illegal party fundraising going back to his 2007 election. And
the L'Oréal heiress Liliane Bettencourt.
That's right.
Brown envelopes and all the rest of it, yeah.
That's right. And if Nicolas was having a few chuckles up in Brussels, Carla was getting emotional and weepy on the French radio airwaves. Now, she has a new album coming out called Little French Songs. And so she was being asked about that. But let's take a listen at what she replied to the interviewer on RTL Radio regarding her husband's current legal woes.
C'est un peu une épreuve pour moi d'en parler. C'est douloureux, en fait, pour ma famille. Je ne souhaite pas en parler. Non, c'est simplement inimaginable. C'est tellement inimaginable que cet homme-là puisse abuser de la faiblesse d'une dame qui a l'âge de sa mère. Je ne sais pas comment vous dire. C'est impensable. Je ne veux plus en parler.
I don't want to talk about it, but I will, and I'll break.
And her voice, she got very emotional.
She was very emotional. Wasn't she? Very upset.
Now, but why I think that might not be 100% sincere is because she pretty much said exactly the same thing to Le Parisien this morning. She used exactly the same words. To think that a man would do something like this to a woman his mother's age, it's unthinkable. Which means
that doesn't mean she's insincere.
Well, what it does mean is that there was a certain amount of scripting of what was to be said to the media.
You think so?
And I'll show you what they're saying
online.
You've
been working in the media too long, James.
Maybe.
You're getting hard-hearted.
Bruno Roger Petit says that it was a sort of a half-baked PR plan with some bad acting. And he said, look, it was played, overplayed, replayed and overplayed. Replayed in the sense that she came out with the same sentence twice.
I think we can safely say that a political comeback's on the cards here, can't we?
Unless the legal problems submerge that political comeback. But certainly there is a planned
But I mean, he went on
comeback.
this long holiday. Now he's back in the public eye. She's out and about as well.
That's right. Doing her music and...
Watch this space, I say.
Doing her Tammy Wynette... What is it?
Stand by your man. Stand by your man. Yeah. Hillary Clinton's one. Okay, let's move to something else. Because over in the US, the Supreme Court has been trying to tackle the thorny issue of gay marriage. Very, very divisive in the United States. Although more and more people are in support of gay marriage, it's still illegal in 41 states. Also here in France, of course, let's not forget the big protests
It's amazing
at the weekend.
timing. It seems like this debate is alive in many countries at the moment.
And as usual, people are getting their point of view across via Facebook.
That's right. The Human Rights Campaign launched what they call a little red equal sign. There you can see it. Now, that has been adopted massively across Facebook in the last 24, 48 hours as people's Facebook photo status, or photo rather. So a lot of people using that as a means of...
Oh, use that as your actual photograph.
That's right, and that's a way of showing that your support for the issue. But then, of course, very quickly people came back with the opposite. Hashtag God is love. So including the San Francisco Archdiocese of San Francisco, they had that on their page. Now, it kind of went...
They've kind of ripped off the Red Cross
They did a bit. They did a bit. Now, it's gone a little bit mental at this point online. You can see that's the Statue of Liberty kissing the Justice sign. Let's get a close-up on that because I think, whoops.
Oh, there's some teddy bears.
There's some teddy bears. The Seattle Tower, what's that all about? Could somebody please tell me? There you have Yoda. Fear is the path of the dark side. Fear leads to anger, etc., etc.
I think that might be a rude one.
I think that's my favourite, Bert and Ernie.
Oh, Bert and Ernie, I remember them.
Now, people are always concluding that there was something more than just friendship there, but I think that's a bit unfair. Now, over at Vice magazine, they're saying that it's all very well to be putting red boxes in your profile photo, but it's not enough. It's not real activism as far as they're concerned.
No,
and
it's
really,
very easy activism, isn't it?
That's right.
You don't have to go out in the rain and protest with a big heavy placard.
That's it. And that's what they're saying at Vice. They're saying head out, go to the Supreme Court like these people, and BuzzFeed shows an element of that.
Get out on the streets and have your voice heard. That's what they do in France.
Talk to us, we're friendly, says one person there, and lots of photos on that BuzzFeed page saying Simba was raised by two guys. He turned out fine. Didn't you watch The Lion King?
And of course the debate very much alive and kicking here in France as well.
That's right. Last weekend, huge march against, and they're talking about how Brigitte Bardot, who's become sort of the flag bearer of the whole movement, she was getting ready to go on French TV tonight, and she and the movement indeed against gay marriage in France are using this hashtag, on lâche rien, we're letting nothing go, or we're dropping nothing. So indeed a big fight back against the bill which was passed in the French lower house, still has to pass the Senate, but a lot of opposition to it.
This is the land of égalité.
Liberty.
And liberté.
Égalité. Who knows?
All right, thanks very much indeed, James. James CREEDON there with Media Watch. We're going to take a short break. We're going to leave you with web news, and we'll be back with the headlines right afterwards. Stay with us. This is France 24.